Yes, I am that guy. I made a JavaScript framework. And I'm making this video to tell you one thing. You shouldn't make a JavaScript framework. So, let's get into it. First of all, let's think about why I wanted to create this JavaScript framework. It's a really interesting story. I was just thinking for some reason about Cookie Clicker for some reason, and how it was a great design, and how I was just amazed how it was made. I was thinking, wow, you did this all with vanilla JavaScript, and you had seamless state management. You had all of this working. I was wondering how you did it. And my thought is maybe you just constantly re-render the page every frame, because that made sense to me. So I actually ended up trying that out, but it didn't work. But it actually brought me to this. This is the code pen of me starting my JavaScript framework. And boy, has it gone way further than this did. So my initial idea was basically to start something new. React constantly has a re-rendering. And I thought, hey, what if I just create a minimalistic type? I just define UI as a string, it gets drawn out with document.write and inner HTML, and it works. But now, let's get something interesting. Because I wanted to create a new JavaScript framework because I felt like it was something new. That it kind of fixed the problem. Because so many frameworks are so heavy, this was just supposed to be minimalistic. At the same time, it was kind of a joke. The name, Subatomic, yeah, that was a joke I made because I thought it was funny. Because I was saying, oh, you have subatomic bundles. But now, the reason why I created it, obviously, was there's something new. But if you're going to create a JavaScript framework, how do you know it's going to be something new? And how do you know that it's going to revolutionize? That's going to matter. Like, if you make a JavaScript framework for like writing UIs, and all you do is, I don't know, it automatically makes it dark mode. Well, you haven't really added anything new because there's obviously already a way to do dark mode, and you just turn to your whole JavaScript framework. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, another reason is why I'm showing this original code pen, because I invested a lot of time in this project. Because obviously, when you look at this, it does not look like this whatsoever. So, let's go to my GitHub version history, and we can see how this evolved, and how I felt like I wasted quite a bit of time in a framework that I still know if I'm going to use. Okay, here we are, at the bottom of my version history. Let's look at my initial commit. Yes, it's a readme. Let's get into the part where I said it works. So obviously, I've done a lot more so far. For example, I actually started using a server, which would actually send in your code, which is already a lot. Because I was trying to create a full stack framework with server-side rendering. So already, and this is what coding in it kind of looks like. You define your UI as an array with a bunch of strings in it. You have components like this. So yeah, that was basically the beginning of everything. But if you look into it, I later added Tailwind, I added use effect, I added a routing system. My friend also did some weird stuff. Don't tell him I said that. I added just some more features. But eventually, you can see I'm not having a lot of fun. Eventually, things got a little out of hand. I finally realized that no one's ever going to use my framework unless it's user-friendly. So, I made the noble decision of using JSX. And this is when things start to get a lot more difficult, because once you start trying to make your code a lot more user-friendly, you start to realize quite a few things. You start to realize that, first of all, this takes so many dev dependencies to get this done. it's so hard to configure it all. What was originally minimalistic has now got a lot more complicated because I'm trying to refactor stuff to make it more easy. I'm trying to use all these compilers. I'm trying to do all of this to the point where I'm just thinking, what the heck? Because at the end of the day, there are companies like Vercel that create something like Next.js with so many more people working on the projects. Meanwhile, I'm alone just working on this thing that kind of started as a joke. Not only that, I'll always be worrying that these other companies and all these other frameworks will always have more features. It'll just not make sense for people to use my framework if it just doesn't have all those features that then you would have to constantly add to it. And what I kind of just want to say about creating a JavaScript framework is that sure, it was rewarding. I learned quite a bit, but I really learned this thing is that it honestly does not make sense for most people. Because, first of all, it needs to be something new. And if you want people to use it, you just need to make it just user-friendly. Dev-friendly, and that can take you so much more time. And also, at the end of the day, if you're doing this alone, this is going to suck up a lot of time, and you don't even know if people are going to use it. That's kind of the sad truth. I made this as a joke, and I never thought people would use it. I don't even think people will use it today. I hope, kinda, that the open source might even take over. But I still want to have a connection with the framework. I just want to say that if you want to create a JavaScript framework, you've been warned. And anyways, if you enjoyed this video, find this tip useful, please give me a thumbs up. And hope you subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, bye-bye.